and it's violation of the first commandment.
Hold on a second. Is music evil?
What kind of music?
Exactly.
Is music evil?
What kind of music you talking about? What kind of music?
Any music.
Most rap music, yes.
Most
rock and roll music, yes.
But hold on a second. So is music evil, yes or no?
Is music evil?
No, not music.
Just like celebrating Jesus' resurrection is not evil.
Well, what did the Lord command?
Now, what the intent that some people
look, anybody can come up with their own tradition.
I would agree
what did
that
the Lord
music,
command us,
most
though?
of it is evil.
What did the Lord command us?
Most music is not evil.
Wait, no, see, look, you playing. Stop being the devil. Stop playing. Stop playing. What does Jesus Christ command us to celebrate?
Did you just call me the devil?
You're being the devil because you're speaking over the scripture. Like, look, you ain't even came into the scripture and showed us why you do this.
I heard it.
You ain't even showed it.
Can we read this?
Read it, brother. Read it. He want to justify his wickedness. That's what he want to do. That's how the devil. The devil's real son. Come on.
All right, go ahead.
Come on.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil,
right?
That put darkness for light and light for darkness, right? That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes.
See, that's your own opinion.
And prudent in their own sight.
Come on.
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink, right? Which justify the wicked for reward.
Come on.
And take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoured the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust. Because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel.
We need 1 Corinthians 10 after you're done, brother.
Psalms 96 and 5 tell you that the gods of the other nations are idols.
False gods.
So assimilations have gotten customs that appear in here, and then they have remnants in our so-called culture, because this technically isn't our culture. If we say that we worship God, the only culture that we have is the oneness of faith and what is written in here.
Yeah.
Now, if we're going to talk about,
if we're going to talk about, they're celebrating his resurrection and calling it Easter is evil. That's what my only argument is.
No, brother,
celebration of his resurrection. He didn't command you to celebrate it. He commanded you to remember his death.
Watch this.
Yes, he did.
For clarification.
1 Corinthians 10.
We're going to grab that. But for clarification, Easter is in the Bible, and it's not talked about with the ritualistic practices of bunnies laying eggs and the defilement of a child's
I'm not ever arguing that.
consciousness.
Santa Claus, Christmas, I mean that. Hey,
So the evilness.
I agree with you saying that, but I don't say it's evil. I say it's immoral because, for example.
No, it has another. It's immoral to another God.
No, stop and listen. No, this is. You have to look at some things like this. For example, the Bible doesn't say that we can or can't celebrate our birthday, but we do. Now, traditionally at birthdays, I know, I don't like them, but some people have clowns. Are clowns
and
evil?
Cakes and blow out candles. Those are rituals that pagans do. Not defending the Bible. Don't do that.
See, I guess I would just argue that.
Now, if you want to say this is the day that the Lord's made, we will be happy and rejoice. Nothing wrong with that.
Or some things are amoral. They're not right.
No, they're not, bro. There's no maybe. There's no gray area.
You know, Christ said that I'd rather you be hot or cold. You can't.
There's no gray area.
And Satan is very subtle. Lean over. Satan is very subtle.
But you got to go back to the context of every scripture.
is very subtle.
We need to read that first.
And when you do scripture, you got to be careful with this. You got to exegete it, not eisegete, because what you do is you're taking one little passage and you're basing it on itself. You got to look at the Bible in the context of both.
No, scripture say that's not how the Bible say study. How does the Bible say study? How does the Bible say study?
You let me know.
How does the Bible say study? It says line upon line, precept upon precept, here little and there little. That's you matching your precepts up. That's you taking something in the Old Testament.
That's comparing it to itself, not to other things.
Exactly. That's what we do.
You just took an eisegesis.
1 Corinthians 10. Look, listen. You gonna listen to the word, or you gonna do this?
I heard the word.
1 Corinthians 10. Read that, bro.
What's your name, man? I'm Alex. I'm Alex.
My name Malachi. I don't shake hands, bro.
Oh, my bad.
You're shaking hands was a surety for debt. You should know that. You're in the Bible.
I didn't
Striking hands is you become a surety to a debt if you strike hands.
But what I was doing is just saying I'm assured that I'm
There was the Lord shaking hands.
Show them that in the scripture.
That's okay.
Let them see it in the scripture.
Let's go 1 Corinthians 10.
Let's start at verse 17.
Come on.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 17.
Yeah.
For we being many are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread.
That's right.
Behold Israel after the flesh. Are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar?
Whatever sacrifice you eat of is the altar you partake of. An altar is a place of sacrifice, whether it be the altar of God or an altar to a false god.
It's like you going to the St. Patrick's Day parade and you ain't Irish.
Or the Mardi Gras. Like that, all these have to do with the Lord. Come on, brother.
What say I then? That the idol is anything?
Right.
Or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything?
Come on.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God.
There you go.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
The Gentiles, the other nations outside the 12 tribes of Israel, their God or an idol god.
So you're a Gentile or you?
No, I'm an Israelite. Israelite, yeah.
How'd you get to be an Israelite?
How did I get? I was born Israelite.
You were?
You don't know about the Israelites in the Bible?
I do know about it.
Okay. Well, what's the prophecy of Israel in the Bible? No, we're not Gentiles.
There it is for you.
There ain't a scripture in the Bible that show you a Gentile. We're Israelites.
You have to be a descendant of Ham or Japheth.
I was born an Israelite.
Genesis 10.
It's a nationality.
Yes, you
Wait a minute,
brother.
We from the same nation as Jesus Christ. Christ was
Your forefathers come over on slave ships.
We were grafted in.
But you have no scripture to prove.
No.
Well, you go to John when he says divine. So what's John?
What you got?
I'm talking about, but Israel is the chosen people of God. We are Israelites.
Well, we're grafted in now. We are
who is we? Who are we?
What's we?
Christians, people that are followers of Christ.
Gentiles?
Of the way. Yeah, because remember when Paul came down and he said...
Paul said he was an Israelite. Paul said he was an Israelite,
not Paul. When Paul was, because he was born a Jew. He's
an Israelite. Jesus was an Israelite. Peter was an Israelite. Cornelius, a Gentile, came, and guess what? Bowed to the Israelite.
He said, kill and eat. It's all things are new. All things are made clean to you.
Okay.
So now everybody can have the opportunity to have that Abrahamic covenant.
No doubt, but you asked me how did I become an Israelite? No, we're not Gentiles. Gentiles are grafted in if they keep the commandments.
Okay, so Romans 2:28-29 say circumcision of the heart, and you become a Jew inwardly. Did the Jews keep Easter?
No, it's not Jews, it's God's chosen people.
Romans 2, you have Israel of God too.
Well, read that out, because I don't remember saying you become a Jew.
Let me finish this up.
Romans 2:28.
Let me finish this up. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21.
Shalom, Israel.
Ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and of the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of the devil.
Come on.
Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy?
Right.
Are we stronger than he?
You got the Romans. Read the Romans real quick.
I agree with that.
Read Romans 2. So if you agree with that, that means you can't eat at the Lord's table and the table of the devil.
Bottom line.
Okay, check us out.
If it's not found in the scriptures, what are we doing?
And where do we get it from?
And where do we get it from?
And I agree with that.
No, but check us out. We ain't talking about watching football. We talking about something that's a custom is worship. You're taking it and saying worship.
Like go to something like this though. What about like dreads though? Because like
what about him? Samson had locks.
Samson had locks.
You can go to literally.
Judges 16:13. Samson had locks.
But now wait a second. If you go back to what the what dreadlocks are kind of known for now is what? What kind of culture is it?
It don't matter. That's
my point.
That's what they in the Bible.
You guys are missing your whole point. Your whole argument is going sideways.
Actually, we're not missing the point at all. It's not missing the point at all.
Look, you're asking about locks. They are in the Bible.
They're in there.
They're in the Bible. What culture?
We have
Go there.
We have pictures.
I want to read one thing to you. I want to read 5 verses to you. My turn. I'm sorry. You got social norms and you have social paradigms, and you have things that people are socialized to think. So if we out here for edification comes from the word of the Lord, not what men think they know.
Absolutely.
We're not out here for that. Absolutely. So if we're talking about the spirit of the whole thing in which we are pleading on behalf of, we're not talking about customs of men. We're talking about what's spiritually righteous in the Bible.
Because you went to Isaiah 55, your ways are not my ways.
We're not talking about customs of men. We're talking about what
men think they know.
What men think they know.
You're doing is
we don't know anything. We know this Bible.
And you're saying that your proof or the way that you see it is the way that
Romans
it should
12,
be.
Man. If a man think he knows something, let him know he knows nothing. We live by the holy ruach, the spirit of the Bible. We're not pleading on behalf.
We finna read it. Romans 2, read 28. On down.
Romans
chapter 3.
Romans chapter 2, verse 28. For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly.
Right.
Neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh.
Come on.
But he is a Jew which is one inwardly.
Come on.
And circumcision is that of the heart in the spirit.
Spirit, right.
And not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of the Most High Yahweh God.
Read chapter 3. One continuous thought.
What advantage?
Check us out. Let me finish. Hold on. But let's edify and then we get this question. Come on.
What advantage then have the Jew?
Because that's the question that come up. Feel me? Like if circumcision ain't an outward thing, if being Israel ain't outward, if it's not an outward thing, even though Paul was Israel, right? Look, he was Israel through the core, got blinded by the Lord on the way to Damascus, and then he went to that very Old Testament and showed that all that's been talking about Jesus Christ
was
the whole time.
We believe what I'm saying?
So he telling his brothers
in Judea. His praise to nobody else.
He telling his brothers in Judea.
That's what it's about.
That was under the covenant.
He don't give his glory to anyone else.
Check us out. He telling his brothers in Judea that's under the covenant. That's literal with him. Like, this is literal. That look, bro, just because you outwardly Israel don't make you right, because your spirit jacked up. Christ said the same thing in Matthew 23.
So now, is the woman, the Samaritan woman at the well, did she get converted to Judaism? Or
you know about the history of Samaria? How did that happen?
I'm asking that question. No, just that. Like
no, she didn't get converted to the cultural ways of a Judite.
But did she become a Jew?
She believed the truth. She believed the truth. And she was blessed for that.
We don't have to be. We don't have to be. Yeah, Rahab the prostitute.
No, look, brother, we not knocking no other. Check us out. We're not knocking no other culture that want to serve our God or no other nation. But they got to let go of their gods and their cultures and follow as if they want us. I have no problem. Anybody. Check us out. We have no problem with that. Abraham had servants in his household. But check us out. The scripture still says to the Jew first.
And then to the Gentile.
We're telling you, we Jews, we Israelites. We're not Gentiles.
So, but how do your heritage goes back to
Abraham, Isaac. What does a Gentile mean? What does Gentile mean? As far as nationality, if Shem, Ham, and Japheth was brothers, let's not do semantics. Let's go to the core of what we're talking about.
Everything, your whole argument.
No, it's not. We didn't have an argument. You came up and asked questions. You came and asked questions.
Don't celebrate Easter.
We didn't gender strife with you. We didn't gender strife with you. We were reading and you inquired. So now we're answering questions and you're attempting to disqualify.
I asked you a question.
He asked you a question.
I asked you, bunnies lay eggs, and you said yeah. You did, you know better. What to say? So you lied right there. You said that wouldn't be the truth.
Now, wait a second, hold on a second. Now, if I wasn't true, was that a lie or was I just...
No, that was a little bit.
But let me ask you a question, though. Like, so if I ask my little 3-year-old what's, 12 plus 15, and they give me a wrong answer, do they lie or they just not...
They don't know it. They don't know it. You know it, though.
You know better, though.
When you said yeah, you knew a bunny didn't lay no eggs.
I didn't know your position. I thought you were just saying, hey, I thought you were...
I asked you, brother, do bunnies lay eggs? You said yeah.
I was thinking we're coming along Easter season. I'm sitting here thinking that's where the...
But that's a lie. But is that not a lie?
You're supposed to write.
Is that a lie? Right? Is it a lie?
No, it's not a lie. It's not a lie. I was mistaken.
So bunnies do lay eggs.
See, now you're trying to catch me in a circle.
Yeah, no.
I just told you. I just told you.
You're playing around. You're playing around.
So wait a second. You're saying you're right or wrong. There's no
you're
gray.
Playing.
There is no gray. Now wait a second. So if there's no right or wrong, or maybe just mistaken.
No,
so if you're mistaken, if you're wrong, then
brother. I know. Check it out. We're not talking about. Hold on. Let me get him. I ain't talking about a mistake. We're talking about you knew better than bunnies don't lay eggs.
I thought you were asking me like if for the little kid stuff. I thought you were...
Okay, so forward on the record. Do bunnies lay eggs?
No, they don't lay eggs.
Okay, so check us out. So now that you know they don't lay eggs, check us out.
I thought you was asking me different questions, man.
Now you lied because you knew they didn't lay eggs.
I thought you were trying to say
no, because you knew when you said yeah they didn't lay eggs.
I thought you were
a grown man. Come on.
I have kids.
And you lied to your babies. You lie to them?
No, it's not lying.
You
tell your babies about lies.
If you tell your child there's Santa Claus, are you lying to them?
No, I don't tell them that. But you know what? When my little 4-year-old comes to me and he thinks it's Santa Claus, I'm going to eventually educate him. I let him know Dad is a helper. Dad is a helper.
No.
But let me tell you something. Though. Wait a second. Stop and listen. Stop and listen,
man. Teach your sons this.
Stop and listen.
Proverbs 22:7 as well, man. Look, you playing because we'll be doing this all day. You're playing.
We can go till we blue in the face.
You're playing, but you're not going her. You giving talking lip. You're not going here though. You believe you a Gentile ain't even going here.
The scripture is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. That was your whole entire thing.
You want me to tell you what my intent was?
He's over here to defend that madness over there. That's what he's over here to defend.
You're inquisitive because you're up on current events.
They over there giving vaccines and health screens, and the vaccines are killing our people.
That's killing.
You know that.
Wait a second.
You know the vaccines are killing our people.
What are they doing? You mean the Thrive thing? That's what they're doing?
Is that a vaccination ban?
I don't know what
they're getting vaccinated. Are they getting vaccines?
I don't know.
But you just lied on camera.
Are they getting vaccines?
They are not getting vaccines.
What are they doing?
What they're doing is ladies that are talking about getting abortions and stuff like that. They're talking about getting rid of their babies. That is absolutely wrong. What they're doing is they have an ultrasound machine in there. They show them a picture of their baby, and they try to talk to them about keeping their baby, and then they give them the help to be able to do that. They give them the support without government assistance. They're trying to do that through ministry-wise so that people will keep their babies, and then they help get them jobs. They give them a place to live so they keep their babies. They're not giving them any vaccines.
That says sharing Christ. Are you sharing Christ? How?
So now, wait a second. Let me ask you something. So you just tried to say that over there is madness.
Is that a R&B ban? Is it giving vaccinations out?
You just spoke
yes
about
or no?
something you didn't know.
Is it giving vaccines out? Is it giving vaccines out?
But you just lied according to what you just said.
Are they giving vaccines out?
I said no.
They're not giving vaccines out.
They are not.
Okay, well, I stand corrected.
So, but you lied.
I stand corrected.
That's my point. Now listen, what I was doing is I am coming over to defend.
No, but buddy, you lay eggs though.
Here's where I'm. Oh, so now you want to take it back to your ignorant argument?
No, because you opened your mouth saying that.
But so what I'm doing is
Planned Parenthood and majority of these healthcare facilities are destroying our community.
I agree with you.
Okay.
But that's
so that was the assumption of mine. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
But it's a wrong assumption because that is anti-Planned Parenthood. That is anti-Planned Parenthood.
Right, because you shouldn't be aborting babies.
You should not kill babies.
Exactly. It's against God.
What they're trying to do is tell people, keep your baby. We will help you keep your baby. Planned Parenthood is jacked up. All right.
So why?
What I'm trying to do is this, because I am the pastor who's over all this, and I see people over here like talk. I want to come over here and see what are you talking about. That's why I came over here and check it out and watched it. And I'm trying to understand where you're coming from to get your theology. Because if somebody comes over here, hold on a second. Because if somebody comes over here by what we're doing to draw them in to share Christ and to love people, I want to make sure if they're going to the outskirts, you ain't giving them nothing that's a little bit off over here. That's what I'm doing. That's why I came asking questions.
That's why I said what I said.
But that's why
that's been the whole premise. The scripture is a discerner of the thoughts and the intent of the heart. Listen, so my brother stood corrected on what the initial premise was, and he said he stood corrected on that.
Just like
but let's
okay.
So now we're at the point where the edification needs to come forth, because that's what I was asking. I said, are we over here petitioning on behalf of the customs and the assimilations of other cultures? No, we're not. We're just trying